All right, we are live on YouTube, and tonight we're going to be discussing some major channel changes, and more ridiculousness continues. So stick around and find out more. That's coming right. Whoa! From Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, when that pop-up box pops up, make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You will not miss anything when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. That is right. You won't miss a single beat when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. Oh my gosh, look who's here. Mutton Nuts World's in the house. Hey, Eli and everyone. Hope everyone is good. Yeah, I'm doing quite well, Mutt. Stick around. I've got a lot to talk about. This show's not going to be too terribly long. It's probably going to be about an hour, maybe an hour and a half max. There is some material to go over. But before we get to that, I just want to remind everyone that the sponsor of this channel is a wonderful gentleman and longtime friend of mine, Troy Brewer, who is the CEO, founder, and owner of the Discover Community Network. For all of your product and service needs from the most trusted professionals in the industry, please consider visiting www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. One more time, that's www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. You can also visit a subsidiary of the Discover Community Network known as the DCN Internet Radio Network. And if you go to that website, you're going to see a bunch of amazing and well put together internet radio stations. There are music stations, and one is more than likely to suit. I'm so excited. To suit your genre needs, whether you like country, whether you like pop, whether you like rap, R&B, classic soul. You know, Troy's got it over there on the DCN Internet Radio Network. He even has a bunch of talk radio stations if you love talk radio just like I do. So if you want to check that out, please consider visiting www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. That's www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. Both of those links are below in the description. And if you go to those sites, you can also find out how to reach out to Troy by sending him an email. And if you send Troy an email, please let Troy know that Coach Eli sends you, Jesus Christ. What is wrong with my verbiage tonight, my vocabulary? It's horrible. Coach Eli sends you with lots and lots and lots and lots of love. All right. Thank you again, Troy, for continuing to sponsor this channel. You're an amazing guy. I know you've been busy lately. You've been in progress of buying a new house and taking care of some things for your family. But when you get a chance, I would love to touch base with you. I know it's been a little while, but don't worry, Troy. I'm holding down the fort while you're gone. All right, so one more thing before we get right to it. If you haven't already noticed, well, before I do that, let me make sure, as always, that the notification has gone out. Let me make sure the notification has gone out. And yes, it has gone out. And it looks like the stream health is looking pretty good. All right, so we are all set to go. All right. Before we continue further on, just to remind everyone that all of my live streams, for the most part, are going to have the chat portion be for members only. Most of these streams are still going to be public, and anyone can view the streams, But if you want to chat in the streams, you need to do one of three things. You need to either purchase a membership, one of my 5 membership packages, as low as $4.99 per month. And that will get you access. All 5 packages will get you the exact same thing. They will also get you members-only videos. And when I do some members-only live streams down the road, you'll have exclusive access to that as well. The only difference between all 5 packages is how much you want to donate to sponsor this channel. The $4.99 package will get you the same thing as the $99.99 Superfan sponsor package and everything in between there. It's just up to you how much you want to sponsor the channel, how much you can afford to sponsor the channel. So that's one way that you can chat in these member-only chats, during my public live streams. You can also send a super chat if you do not want to become a member. So anyone publicly can send a super chat and pay to send the message. So every time you want to send a message, you'll have to send a super chat. And you can send a super chat for as little as $1, on your laptop, desktop, or your Android, or as little as 99 cents on your iPhone, because, the wonderful iPhone Apple company likes to do things in the 99-cent realm. But if you send more than 5 super chats per month, why not just, become a monthly member for $4.99 and be able to send unlimited messages? So the choice is up to you, but those are your options. Or if you get to know me and we get to like and trust each other, I will make you a moderator on this channel, and moderators are exempt from having to be members to be able to chat. As you can see, we have Queen Helen Casey's back in the house, and Muttnuts World is here as well. Queen, great to have you back. Queen, I've been watching your Twitter postings lately, and look, Queen, you and I will always be friends, even though we have a little bit of or maybe a big difference of opinion in the way this election has gone. So I hope I don't offend you, Queen. I'm not trying to offend you. I love everyone, whether they're liberal, whether they're conservative, whether they're independent, whether they're, libertarian or whatever. I love people for people just being people. That's the bottom line. So welcome back, Queen. It's a great pleasure to have you back here on the channel. And I got to tell you, Queen, I think as we enter 2021, I think you and I can get together and do some shows, maybe along with Muttnuts and some other people, and share the differences between the left and the right in a professional and proper way. I think we can definitely do that, and we can talk more about that behind the scenes. I did get your message behind the scenes, but I also did find out through Twitter, as you mentioned, Queen, that earlier today, it was afternoon here on the West Coast, because I'm in the Pacific time zone, early evening on the East Coast. YouTube was down for, I think, nearly an hour or so. No one could live stream, and no one could access any content. So everything else was working. If you had a live stream already set up, you could still access your chat, and you could go to any video page. But once you would click to try to view the video or live stream, you would get this error message. Well, that issue has been fixed. And Queen, I saw your Twitter post. I see all of your Twitter postings, Queen, even though sometimes I just don't respond. I don't want to, no disrespect to you, I don't want to invest myself in any more drama than I already have over the past 4 years out here on YouTube. But yeah, I do think that maybe Google and YouTube, did it on purpose. I'm not 100% sure. You never know. But, whenever YouTube and Google, if YouTube and Google does something like that once or twice a year where they shut down the site for an hour purposefully, it does draw a lot of attention and people talk about it, and it's like free advertising. It's not the right thing to do, but yeah, I can understand why you would feel that way. So again, great to have you back here, Queen. And again, I'm just here stating my opinions, which are going to be probably different than yours and Mutt's, but we're still friends at the end of the day. I still have lots of love for you. Queen says, big tech do need to split up literally. Well, yeah, maybe they should, or if they actually do split up Queen, the only thing I'm concerned about, if big tech does split up, are they going to have enough resources individually to continue running these very expensive platforms? Because it does cost a lot of money to run YouTube, and Google, and maybe a few other companies like Amazon are the few that could afford to, pay for all the server costs and the internet bandwidth that it takes to run these sites. So I get where you're coming from a monopoly standpoint, but at the same time, it costs a lot of money to run these tech sites. And unless you have, big tech with big bucks, I mean, this wouldn't be around. So either way you look at it, I like to look at things from both sides of the spectrum. It's like a catch-22. So I get it, but I respectfully understand where you're coming from. Again, it's great to have you back, Queen. And Queen, do you feel a lot better now that this chat's become members only and we're not dealing with as many trolls and things are getting back on track over here? Let me know what your thoughts are. And Mutt, if you're still around, let me know as well. Now, one more thing I want to mention. I just noticed this. I can't even talk. I just noticed this today. There are a couple new channel members to the Grip on Life channel that I want to, thank personally right now. First and foremost, I would like to thank a creator that used to go by the name of Y2K Homie. His new channel name, I believe, is called Homie Humberto, or I can't pronounce your channel name, bro. We're gonna have to talk privately one of these days, and you're gonna have to pronounce it for me. But I apologize for butchering it. I'm getting some messages behind the scenes. Oh, Mutt, I just got your message, Mutt. Mutt, when you were talking about things last week, I had a feeling something like that might have been happening. I'm not going to say anything because I know we are live and you want to keep it quiet. But if you want to talk with myself or Queen behind the scenes, if you need whatever you need from us, please, we're here for you. We're like your family. This is why I became a life coach, to help people like you in this situation. And you're a moderator. I'll always help you for free. Same with you, Queen, because you folks have done so much for me to moderate these chats. Okay? But what good am I as a life coach if I cannot be there for people when they most need me? But the tough part is, when people go through things like you're going through, Mutt, they want to be alone. They want to say that, oh, we can handle this on our own and we don't need anybody. Well, that's the furthest thing from the truth. So you take all the time you need, Mutt. You need me. You know how to reach me. I will drop everything and be there for you and Queen and the rest of the moderators here. You're all amazing people. So, but yeah, feel free to chat in the chat, every so often if you feel great or if you end up feeling better. And that is that. Okay. So Homie Humberto, I believe is how you pronounce it. If I butchered it, let me know, bro. Formerly known as Y2K Homie. He is the latest member of this channel here on the Grip on Life channel. And I got your comment earlier today, Y2K Homie. And I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. You don't have to feel obligated to keep that membership, recurring each month. But if you do, that's up to you, man. I just appreciate you nonetheless. Another person I didn't realize purchased a membership 7 days ago is American Dream 4.0. Now, I don't know who American Dream 4.0 is. I don't know. What I do know is American Dream and then American Dream 2.0, 3.0, and now 4.0. They've been in my chats, and it's been kind of like I've kind of wondered if it's really him or not. Now, whoever comes in as a member, we're going to know if you're a troll or not. And if you're a troll that's just purchasing memberships to troll me, you will also get banned. Just making all my members aware that just because you're a member does not make you immune from getting banned from the channel if you don't follow my rules in the chat and you're respectful. But nevertheless, thank you so much to American Dream 4.0 for also becoming a channel member. Feel free to check out the 21 members only videos. And feel free to chat in the chat because you are a channel member, and that gives you access to that as well. So, yeah, if you want to become a member, you know how to do it, folks. You can go below in the description to the very top. There's a link there that'll take you directly to that section to join. If you're on your laptop or desktop, you can click on the join button on any part of the channel, especially the home page. And if you have an Android, the join button will show up. But if you have an iPhone, more than likely the join button does not show up. The join button on iPhones only shows up on select channels. I think on channels that have had memberships for years now. All the newer channels, for some reason, are not showing up. You can't join directly from the YouTube app by going to the channel with your iPhone, which kind of sucks. Hopefully they change that. One of the main reasons is because Apple takes an extra fee on top of what YouTube takes. So I think that's one of the reasons why YouTube is doing that. But that's just the way it is. If you want to join on your iPhone, you're going to have to click on the link below in the description at the top of all of my videos, and then log into your YouTube channel through your iPhone's web browser, Safari or Chrome or whatever you use, and you can sign up that way if that's the only device you have and you don't have a computer. All right. So let's get right to it here because, oh man, I'm already 16 minutes into the show. Pretty long intro. Lewis Fuller, I forgot to mention you. Lewis Fuller's in the house. How you doing, Lewis? Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. Lewis says, good evening to everyone and the host. I am which your ads. I think you meant to say, I watch your ads in full. Well, thank you, Lewis. That's not necessary, but I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. That tells me that this video has not been demonetized yet. My last 3 live streams have gotten demonetized, and I sent all 3 of them in for manual review, and they were all approved as suitable for all advertisers. The problem is it's taking YouTube now 2 days to review monetization that's gone to the not suitable yellow icon status. And during that time, that's when you get most of your playbacks. So while those videos have been reverted to green by a human reviewer, YouTube, I've already lost the bulk of my monetization. Anyway, not a big deal. It's all good. All right, let's see. Queen Helen Case says, hello, Lewis. Lewis Fuller says, hello, hi, everyone in the stream. Muttnuts World says, hey, Lewis. I just gave you a like, says Lewis. Muttnuts World says, thank you. We'll let you know if I do. Well, Mutt, listen, Mutt, you're stubborn just like me. A lot of people are stubborn when they need help. When they go through something and they really need help or someone to talk to, they're stubborn. So, Mutt, I'll tell you what. When you stop being stubborn, which will probably never happen because I'm stubborn too, and that'll never change about me. But if you take a momentary lapse from you being stubborn, please reach out to me and we'll talk. Lewis Fuller says, hi, Muttnuts World. Lewis Fuller says, YouTube is changing your platform. YouTube what's down earlier. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, but they're back. But it's back up and running, and Lewis Fuller says, I am doing good. All right, let's get right to it here. Let's get right to it because this is how the show is going to go tonight, folks. Tonight's topic is more ridiculousness continues plus major channel updates, including 4K content. 4K content one more time. More ridiculousness continues. And that's in regards to our wonderful current President Donald Trump, who just can't concede. When the election was, won by Joe Biden by an astronomical amount. He just still won't concede. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Plus, major channel updates, including 4K content. 4K content is coming to this channel. All right? Let's start talking about the major channel updates. Well, before we get to that later on, or probably before I take my first break, I'm going to be reading 2 articles today regarding what's going on regarding the election. I know I said the other day on my previous stream that I wouldn't be talking about this that much, but I've made a decision. I'm going to talk about it. And as part of the future on my channel, I made another decision. I'll get to that here in just a second. But in a little bit, I'm going to be reading an article from USA Today and dissecting it. It's called Fact Check. Wisconsin County did not have a glitch that stole votes from Trump. Fact check. Wisconsin County did not have a glitch that stole votes from Trump. And then after the break, I'm going to read an article from LA Times, which is a paper here in California, Southern California. I'm in Northern California. Biden calls Trump's attempts to cling to power embarrassing and says he'll push on. One more time. Biden calls Trump's attempts to cling to power embarrassing and says he'll push on. Yeah, I saw that live when Biden came out and said that a few days ago, that Trump's attempts to cling to power is embarrassing. And Joe Biden said that with such grace. Such grace. Yeah, embarrassing, it says he'll push on. All right. So, let's talk about what's coming up on this channel starting within a few weeks from now. And I'm going to be rolling it out very, very slowly, and it will be in full force during the new year. But you'll get some of the new content and the new changes coming within a few weeks. So, yesterday, I made a major, major purchase. I've been talking about this for a while. It was finally time to pre-order the new iPhone 12, and I ended up ordering the top of the line iPhone 12 Pro Max with a 6.7-inch OLED screen. I ordered the silver version. They have gold, silver, blue, and I think there's like a red one or something like that if I remember correctly. So I pre-ordered the iPhone 12 Pro Max. The best smartphone ever made. Now, some people might say, well, my Android, some of the newer Samsungs are good. They have more specs. That may be true. But this is the best iPhone ever made. And remember, Apple does things a little differently than Android or, PC stuff like on Windows. Okay? They have a more efficient way of getting more juice with using less power. That's how they've always been. But this iPhone is incredible. It has 6 gigs of RAM compared to the iPhone 6 Plus that I've had for almost 5 years. The phone that I've had for almost 5 years. Almost 5 freaking years is this phone right here. It's a little scratched up on the back there, but it's still good. This is the iPhone 6 Plus. It's a little dirty because I've been using it all day. One of the best phones I ever had. This was the very first big phone that Apple made almost 5 years ago. They called it a phablet, which is a combination of the word tablet and phone. Phablet. It had a 5.5-inch screen. Okay? Never had iPhone or had Apple made an iPhone as big as this. Now, this phone, back 5 years ago, 1 gig of RAM. There were 3 options. There was the options to have 16 gigs of memory, 64 gigs, and 128 gigs. I got 64, and that's been fine. This phone, let me tell you how good it's been. I have the original battery. I use this thing every single day. I've used it every day for almost 5 years. This phone has the original battery and it still works at peak performance. And the phone tells me that the battery almost 5 years later has 80% of its battery capacity remaining. That means after almost 5 years, the battery in this phone with excessive usage every day, has 80% of its original capacity. That is freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. Now, if I got that much life out of this phone, I can only imagine how much life I'm going to get out of my iPhone 12 Pro Max, which has 6 gigs of RAM. And you know what? There are 3 options: 128 gigs of memory, 256 gigs of memory, or 512 gigs of memory. Which one do you folks think I got? But how much memory do you think I got on my new iPhone? 128 gigs, 256 gigs, or 512? I'm going to give you a few to respond there. You can guess. Now, while we're waiting for Mutt to respond there, so why did I get this phone? Number one, I wanted to have a phone that's going to last a while. Number two, I've always used my iPhone for mobile production for my YouTube channel. Mobile production is very, very important. She said the max. You're right. I got 512 gigs of memory. Now, why did I get 512 gigs of memory? Well, I was starting to say mobile production is very, very important. And ever since I stopped doing my mobile live streams and other videos, out of the studio here, my numbers have gone a bit down and people have been asking me to bring them back. Well, the reason why I stopped doing them is because I pinched a nerve and, I haven't been able to even get back out to start walking and hiking until a few weeks ago. And that's why this is all coming back now. But the reason why I got 512 gigs of memory is because coming soon, when I get the new iPhone 12 Pro Max sometime next week or over the next 10 days, when it gets delivered to me, I'm going to start doing tons of mobile videos in glorious 4K. In glorious 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, as far as mobile live streams go, the quality of those might get a little bit better because the camera is much better. The front camera on the iPhone 12 Pro Max is way better than the 6 Plus. And it's able to do 4K at 60 frames per second on the front and back camera. But the YouTube app that, allows you to stream live mobily only allows you to do a maximum of 720p. So the 4K will not be on mobile streams. The 4K material that I put out on this channel will be pre-recorded stuff. I may do some walks or hikes pre-recorded where I'm talking about, specific topics that are requested. So if you folks, for example, if you folks want to email me at Coach Eli at coacheli@melas.com and, send me a topic request, or if you have a situation you'd like for me to dissect, I would love to answer your questions while I'm out on the hiking trail and record it in glorious 4K and give you some incredible, footage of nature in 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, to be very clear, the only footage at this time on my channel, starting within a few weeks on occasion, and then it'll be more than on occasion after the new year, is going to be on pre-recorded videos outside of the studio. Like I said again, live streams, even with the top-of-the-line phone that can do 4K at 60 frames per second, the YouTube app limits you to 720p. So I will be doing some live streams on occasion, but they will be more pre-recorded content because I want to give you the higher quality 4K footage, which is going to be incredible and beautiful. Okay. Now, as far as in the studio, I do my streams at 1080p, 30 frames per second. So why don't I do any higher than that? Well, number one, my laptop is 5-6 years old. And while I have an i7 processor, quad core, with 16 gigs of RAM, as much as I run on this laptop here, I've taxed it out. The most I can do on this laptop is 1080p at 30 frames per second. I can't even do 1080p at 60 frames per second on this laptop. So for the time being, until I get a new laptop, which will probably be in about a year or so, maybe a little less than that, I'll be doing the in-studio streams the same way. But once I get a new laptop, those streams will probably go to 1080p, 60 frames per second. Even though the new laptop I get sometime next year will allow me to do 4K, it's just, there's no point to really doing 4K in-studio streams, in my opinion. You're not going to be able to really tell the difference, especially on a mobile device, or even on your TV, because I'm in the studio here. But when I'm out in nature, that's going to make a big difference there. So I just wanted to clarify that 4K is coming to this channel, but it's only going to be on pre-recorded videos outside of the studio. Live streams outside of the studio will still be at 720p because that's the max that YouTube allows, or defaults to, through the YouTube app. And then these streams here are still going to be the same for the time being, 1080p at 30 frames per second. Until I get a new laptop, then they'll go to 1080p at 60 frames per second. Maybe a year or 2 or 3 down the road, when they find more efficient ways to stream 4K content, maybe we'll upgrade the live streaming in the studio to 4K at that point. Folks, 4K files are extremely large files. It takes a lot more, it takes a higher bit rate to get that type of quality. And remember, 4K is 4 times the resolution of 1080p. So just imagine your files are going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 times larger than 1080p files. So that is that. Another thing that I want to mention here, and you know what? I may even take a break before I get to these articles. I don't know. I may even go 3 rounds tonight. It may take me longer than I expected. Let's see. Muttnuts World says, I put a new laptop on my list to stay on the LOL. Oh, that's good, Mutt. One with a 64-bit processor. I don't even think they make 32-bit processors anymore, Mutt. So anything you get now is going to be a 64-bit processor, and you're going to be able to do a lot more with that. But, yeah, let me talk about a few more changes here. And then before I get to even the first article, I will take a quick break and then come back. And then I might take another break, depending how long it takes me to get through the first article. So I made another decision here on this channel that I never thought I would make. And I'm going to tell you all how it's going to tie into my coaching business. Because I know lately, over the last week or two, I've been doing a lot of political commentary, which is something I haven't done a lot of in the past. It's not that I didn't know what I was talking about, or it's not that I didn't want to talk about it. I really didn't want to offend anyone, and I didn't feel that it was necessary as part of my coaching business. But from what I've experienced myself, and how much politics affected my life and my business over the last 4 years, whether I like it or not, it did affect me. It affected me completely. And I've grown to realize that politics and the way our administration is run, especially by the commander-in-chief, whoever they may be at the given time, makes a huge difference. So what I've decided to do, folks, is that I'm going to be incorporating a lot of political commentary within my coaching, but when I do talk about politics and do political commentary, it's going to be based on how it affects each and every one of you throughout the various aspects of your life. That includes your dating life, or if you're married. That includes your business, whether you're self-employed or whether you work for somebody else. I'm going to incorporate it into how it affects your life. Because like I said again, as I've been talking, and as I've been talking about over the last several weeks, the last 4 years of my life have been tremendously affected. And I hate to even say it again. It's been tremendously affected because I've had a lot of people attack me on this platform just because I'm a slight left liberal. That's the truth. That's the bottom line. But I never once attacked any of them. I never once attacked any conservatives or independents. I never once attacked anyone based on their political party preference. But a lot of the conservative, middle-aged Caucasian men constantly attacked me and did things to me that, were hard to control. It severely affected my right to free enterprise and many other aspects of my personal life. These people did things to me that, in my opinion, they should have gone to jail for. But they played the system and got away with it. And that's why I've been saying all along, whether you're conservative or liberal, I'm telling you, give it a chance. Like we gave Donald Trump a chance. Give Joe Biden a chance. Give Joe Biden a chance to see how much better things will get, even for you conservatives too. I care about you. But again, I'm going to be adding a lot of political commentary to my channel. I've always watched CNN, which a lot of people say is fake news. I've also watched Fox and some of the other mainstream channels, but I've become addicted to watching CNN now. I've become so addicted to watching CNN that I just really feel the need to talk about this stuff now. It's not that I didn't want to talk about it in the past. It's just I didn't feel it was that important. I didn't want to mix politics with business or pleasure. And I still would rather not. But because of the way the world has gone and become, it's extremely important. Whether you like politics or not, at least in this current world, this current modern world, anything and everything that happens politically is going to affect you and your entire life. That's funny. I get it, Queen. I know you. I get it. Alaska and North Carolina went to Trump today. Well, yeah. I mean, he was winning those states already, wasn't he? Though, Queen. They finally got enough votes there to be able to project a winner, right? Yeah, they were giving those to Trump anyway. CNN was projecting that, I believe, all along. But okay, cool. Okay. All right, so that's what's going to be coming to this channel, folks. Also, if you have any suggestions regarding any topics you'd like for me to discuss, or if you're interested in doing a one-on-one live interview or pre-recorded interview, please don't be afraid to reach out to me. Go below the description and find my email, Coach Eli at coacheli@melas.com. That's Coach Eli at coacheli@melas.com. If you're serious about collaborating on a project together, if you're another YouTuber, if you're another content creator, whether you're on YouTube or another platform, or if you're just someone that wants to have a voice, if you want to share your story and you want my advice and my take on it, and you want my audience to hear it and give their feedback, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to get you on the channel and help you in any way possible. All right, so with that being said, we're 39 minutes into the show. Queen says Biden lost a couple of states, and that means he's no longer the elect president. That's not true, Queen. I love you like a sister, but that's not true. He's already over 270. As far as if you're going to include those states where Trump is suing, where he really has no just cause, because, I mean, what's the most that you can overturn? I mean, if they do a recount, what's the most votes they're going to find inaccurate? Like 200? I just want us all to get along. I just want us all to be one. I don't want us to fight left versus right. But anyway, I'm going to take a break. And, no, Queen, you say whatever you want to say. My house is your house. I care a lot about you, and I even care about all the rest of the conservatives, whether they feel I don't care about them or not. I care about everyone. I just want everyone to have a fair shot of accomplishing whatever they want to accomplish. And I also want to make it very clear, like I've made clear in my previous 2 streams, this is not the United States of Republicans or the United States of Democrats. This is the United States of America. We're all the same. We shouldn't be fighting over this stuff. It's ridiculous, All right. Let me cue up some music here. Give me just a second, folks. Let's see, what do we have here? All right. Give me just 1 second here. Yeah, one more song. What do we want to come back to? Come on, Eli. Shouldn't take you this long. All right, folks. Everything's all queued up, so I'm going to step away for another 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. When I get back, we're going to get into the first of 2 articles. One's going to be from USA Today. Fact check: Wisconsin County did not have a glitch that stole votes from Trump. And then after that, an LA Times article titled, Biden calls Trump's attempts to cling to power embarrassing and says he'll push on. So stick around. We'll be right back. Mutt's about to say welcome back. Mutt, I'm waiting for your welcome back. It's almost expected now, Mutt. You don't expect anything, but you always say welcome back. Now that Queen is back, that's all good too. Welcome back, Queen! Yeah! Woo! I feel good. I feel good. Oh yeah! Oh my God, tuck in the shirt. Whoa, my God. Whoa. All right, simmer down, Coach. Simmer down, Coach. It's not the end of the world, Coach. Oh, yeah. Whoo! Oh, yeah. There she is. She says, welcome back, Mutt. Welcome back, Queen. Lewis Fuller, and anyone else that's here, too. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli live here on YouTube. It is Wednesday, November 11th, 2020. 10:32 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:32 p.m. Pacific Time. In my neck of the woods, I'm in the beautiful, glorious, amazing San Francisco Bay Area, the very, very blue Bay Area, or the very, very blue entire state. We always know that the West Coast is always blue, but I'm not here to talk about, blue versus red. I'm not here to talk about left versus right. I'm not here to talk about Democrats versus Republicans, liberals versus conservatives. I'm here to speak with the great people of our nation in the U.S. and even outside of the U.S. because we met so many amazing people on this platform globally. What YouTube has done, it's brought this entire world together in ways unlike anything I've ever seen. And quite frankly, like I've been saying all along, I learned a lot about those red states in the South and in the Midwest, and learned about how a lot of those people like to do things because of YouTube. Had it not been for YouTube, I would have been stuck in my own little world here in California. And I'll tell you, it was one hell of an experience, one heck of an experience, and it still is to this day. Now, tonight, folks, we are discussing more Ridiculousness continues, plus major channel updates, including 4K content. One more time, the topic of tonight's stream is more Ridiculousness continues, plus major channel updates, including 4K content. If you missed the first part of the show, go back and check out the replay. You're not going to be able to watch it while I'm live because I have the DVR, the rewind feature turned off, because I do want people to be here live to engage if you're in the chat. But check it out. I discuss what's coming soon to this channel, some great changes, and I also mentioned a few other things, so make sure you go back and watch the replay if you're just tuning in. And now we're about to get to the second part of the show. I may have to take another break before I get to I have two articles to go over, is what I'm trying to say, and I may have to take another break before I get to the second of two articles I'm going to be critiquing here today. But again, I want to make it very clear on this show, I'm not here to attack anyone. I'm not here to go against the conservatives. I'm not here to praise the liberals. I'm not here to, do anything besides try to create unity and bring people back together. The truth of the matter is, we are a divided country. And the funny thing is, you can let me know what you think about this, Queen. People are saying, and this is what the liberals are saying, and I'll disagree with them to a certain extent on this. The liberals are saying we are a divided country, and we became more divided, or we became divided because of President Trump. Now, in my opinion, President Trump did add to the division, but it had already been happening. We have been divided here in this country, here in the U.S., long before Trump came into office. Just when Trump came into office, he focused more of his energy on the liberals. And to be quite honest, just my opinion, Queen, no disrespect, Trump did not really focus any of his message, to the liberals at all, or to the country in general. He focused it more towards the conservatives, which basically created a bigger division between liberals and conservatives than there already was. So, my whole thing is just to bring people together. I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm not here to create any problems. I love everyone until you give me a reason to not love you, not based on your political party preference or anything else, but based on how you behave and how you treat me and how you treat others. If I was going to judge people for any reason, it would be based on their behavior of how they treat me and how they treat others. That's the bottom line right there. But Queen, I will say this. I'm very proud of you that you're able to speak your mind and stand up for what you believe in and even get along with people like me. I understand we do have a difference of opinion here, but this is one of those cases, folks, where, like I've talked about this regarding Queen and I in the past. She's still here. She will always be here. She will always be a moderator, and I will always respect her because she states her opinion and she does it in a respectful way. So she's pretty straightforward like me, but she's not attacking me and I'm not attacking her. We're just stating opinions. Some of those opinions may be facts, but a lot of them are opinions, right? And we can both learn from each other. And that's what I'm trying to create here. I'm trying to create, situations where, hey, instead of, left versus right fighting, let's talk and see if we can compromise and make this world a better place, right? It is true the country is divided because of Obama. Real name, Barry Soetoro. Okay. I think it started even long before Obama, Queen. The country's been divided for a very, very, very long time. It's just continuing to get worse. And I'm just hoping that, the Biden administration is going to bring things back together and create unity. I know that Joe is going to really care about everyone, including the conservatives. I know the conservatives do not see this yet, and I understand how angry the conservatives are, including you, Queen. Listen, I feel for you. I understand what you're going through. But all I ask, if I even have any say, which I probably don't, is that we just give it a chance, just like we gave Donald a chance 4 years ago when he beat Hillary. A lot of us weren't too happy about that, but we gave it a chance, and we didn't try to, stop him from, going into office. He won fair and square. Hillary conceded, and that was that. Here we are, we're looking at a week and a half later. Well, not quite a week and a half later, like 8 days after the election. And when was it decided? It was on Saturday. It was when it was projected that Joe Biden is the next president. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 5 days later, and Trump has not conceded yet. Well, a lot of conservatives will say because there's a lot of fraud happening, and they're investigating the fraud, and it's going to take time. But quite honestly, there's no fraud that's happened. And if there were any mistakes made at the polls, those mistakes that have been made are so minimal that even if a recount happens, which some states will have a recount, it's going to change the votes by a couple hundred, or maybe even 500 or 1,000. And in those states, Biden is leading by more than that. And if we're going to talk about, they're talking about, I'm losing my verbiage. There's another creator, I'm not going to mention his name. I've been kind of tuning into this stuff for a little bit every now and then. He's saying that, they should have a recount. They should throw out the election and have a recount. Or sorry, have a re-election, which is what I'm trying to say, not a recount. Throw out the election and have, a completely, do the election over, right? And have everybody go and vote in person and, bring an ID and all that. We shouldn't allow, vote by mail or absentee ballots. He's saying the only people that should be allowed to have an absentee ballot are people that are truly going to be absent out of the area on a vacation, or people that are overseas, that are fighting for our country, the military. We've always allowed absentee ballots. We've always allowed voting by mail. Why all of a sudden are we talking about changing this just because the outcome of the election didn't go the way the conservatives wanted it to go? And I'm not trying to say too much about the liberals here, and I'm not trying to put the liberals on a pedestal, but the liberals have never questioned that. Why are we all of a sudden questioning how we've been running elections forever because the outcome didn't, come out in the favor of the conservatives in this case, right? Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Queen Helen Casey, Biden is planning to sell the country back to China like he did for 47 years, literally. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe you're talking about manufacturing is cheaper in China, which is true. That's yet to be determined. There are more important things to address immediately, such as COVID-19 and systemic racism. I'm sure he's going to get to that, but I think the top priority for Biden right now is to try to get this COVID-19 thing under control, because over the last week and a half, it's just spiraled way out of control. And more people are dying, more people are getting sick. And it's just sad. Mutnuts World just learned an interesting fact. Donald Trump is the first president not to have a pet in the White House, which in my eyes is sad. Everyone should have a pet. Well, that's his choice. Listen, Mutt, I'm a slight left liberal, just slightly on the left. But I'm still going to come out and say Donald Trump or any other president, has the right to have a pet or not have a pet. I know you're being funny, Mutt. But yeah, if I was the president, I'd want to have a dog. I would get a nice big German Shepherd, purebred, male German Shepherd. But yeah. And Mutt says, or Queen says, Mutt, leave Melania alone. Where did you mention Melania? I didn't see that. I'm scrolling back here. I don't see anything about Melania being mentioned. Mutnuts World says, unless you count Melania as a pet, LOL, just had to go there, LOL. Oh, okay. All right. Now I know what triggered Queen. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Gosh. Queen Helen Casey says, I don't want to live in a world where there is communism, socialism by Biden, because that's what he wants. Literally. Well, like I said, Queen, there are more important issues to tackle than that at this point. And the other things you mentioned, we've got the COVID-19 thing, and we have systemic racism. And I'm sure you can agree, Queen, that systemic racism is not good. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but again, I understand there are a lot of issues to tackle, and some of those issues have not been addressed yet. In my opinion, because there are more important, urgent issues. But we'll just see what happens. We got to take it one day at a time. And here's the thing. If Biden does not perform at the level that I expect him to perform, then I'll be the first one to come out and say, hey, I was wrong. I'll have no problem saying that. So, that's my thought about it. But anyway, we got to move right along, because this show's going to get really long, and I've got to wrap up this show by I've got about another hour, and then I definitely need to wrap this up. So let's go and switch over to the browser screen, and let's get to the first of two articles I'm going to be dissecting and doing some commentary on here. The first one is called Fact Check. Wisconsin County did not have a glitch that stole votes from Trump. This was written by Eric Litke from USA Today, published 5:09 p.m. Eastern on November 10th, 2020. That was about a day ago, yesterday. All right, let's get right to it. The claim, system glitch also uncovered in Wisconsin, reversal of swap votes removes lead from Joe Biden. The latest baseless Wisconsin voter fraud claim centers on Rock County, where Eric Trump and other conservatives claim to have uncovered votes that switched from President Donald Trump to President-elect Joe Biden. All right. Eric Trump, the president's son and advisor, tweeted this claim late on Monday. He seems to be following in his fellow. I can't even talk. I'm sorry. He seems to be following in his father's footsteps. He wants to make sure that he gets the inheritance, right? That's what it is. Citing a story earlier that night from the Gateway Pundit, the headline blared, breaking exclusive, system glitch also uncovered in Wisconsin, reversal of swap votes removes lead from Joe Biden. Okay, let's read on. Eric Trump and Gateway Pundit have both circulated misinformation since the election, claiming voter fraud without evidence, or even in the face of clear evidence to the contrary. Yeah, there's been no evidence of it. Everything's gone nice and smooth, just like any other election has gone, right? The claim is baseless. Rock County votes were accurately recorded. Here's what actually happened from USA Today, okay? The claim. Gateway Pundit's article claims the organization identified approximately 10,000 votes that were moved from President Trump to Biden in just one Wisconsin county. That is not true. How would you do that? How could you get away with doing that? You'd have to have an entire team led by, the leader that was running, the poll workers in that county, to all create fraud. The site presents as evidence two screenshots from Fox News' election results showing Trump listed with 46,649 votes at 11:43 p.m. Central Standard Time on November 3rd, compared to 37,133 for Biden. Those numbers then switched in a screenshot with a time of 11:57 p.m. So you're talking literally 14 minutes later, they switched and they made a mistake. They made an error on the screen. And that's what we're complaining about. Let me see if there's anything in the chat here. Look up Operation Dark Winter. You will find it very interesting. Will do, Queen. Will do after the show. Thank you. Any information you want to send me, Queen, I'd be happy to look at. You can feel free to tweet at me too if you like, Queen. I mean, I get all your tweets, but Queen, I'm going to get more involved in the political realm of things from this point on. I didn't want to do that in the past. I just kind of wanted to stay silent, but I can't stay silent anymore. I mean, there's just too much going on in the world that I want to have a voice about myself. So, yeah, feel free to send me anything. Let's continue here. Since current counts show Biden leading Wisconsin by just 20,540 votes, the article notes switching those 9,516 votes back to Trump and away from Biden would make the state a virtual tie. But that's not what happened. There's no fraud. But this projection only makes sense if Trump rightfully received those votes. Right. And he didn't. Right. If someone can prove that there was voter fraud and the election was skewed, or at least the votes in Wisconsin, in any of those counties that are in question, or the county in question, if they were skewed in the favor of Biden illegally, then I say, hey, give it to Trump. I'm about fair and square. Yes, I did vote for Joe Biden. Yes, I am a slight left liberal. But I'm about what's fair and equal. If that's what actually happened and there's proof, then it is what it is, right? It is what it is. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from or what your political party preference is. Right is right, and wrong is wrong. The article does not include any discussion of why those votes flipped or interviews with election officials. Here's what Gateway Pundit would have found if they had done that research. All right, let's continue. USA Today reached out to Gateway Pundit and Eric Trump for comment. More. Fact check that spike in Wisconsin vote tally was expected and legitimate, not fraud. Okay. Well, that's another article there. We're not going to read that. More. Fact check. Wisconsin has more registered voters than ballots cast. Gosh, USA Today is doing a lot of fact checks. I know President Trump doesn't like those fact checks on Twitter. I've never seen any other Twitter user get fact-checked as much as our own president. Vote totals reported by the Associated Press create the stream of data used by Fox News and many other election websites on Election Day. Let's continue. For Rock County, Wisconsin, that stream showed a steady increase for both Trump and Biden from the first report around 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until the last one just before midnight. Okay, that sounds right. When the final vote tallies were reported at 11:43 p.m., after poll workers tabulated the absentee ballots, Biden's total jumped from 30,453 to 46,649, while Trump's jumped from 31,343 to 37,133. That difference in absentee ballots is consistent with the rest of the state and nation, as Trump had repeatedly urged his supporters to not use mail-in votes, while Biden and Democrats had encouraged absentee balloting. So let's go back and talk about this again like I did last week. Why was Trump ahead initially? Because Trump encouraged voters to even come out during the COVID time to vote in person, while Biden and the Democrats were saying, because it's COVID-19, we want you all to be safe, we highly recommend and urge you to vote by mail. So all of this information here coincides with what the president and president-elect both said to their people, and that's what their people did. Okay, the Trump supporters, the conservatives, they voted primarily in person. The Biden and Democratic supporters, they voted by mail. Nothing illegal about that. Nothing wrong with vote by mail. Nothing wrong with absentee ballots. They've been a part of our democracy and elections for years, for decades, and decades and decades and decades. The Rock County Clerk's Office website shows those tallies for the two candidates and has not been updated since 11:43 p.m. on Election Day, Clerk Lisa Tollefson said. However, the Associated Press sent an update at 11:45 p.m. that transposed the numbers, wrongly assigning the 37,133 total to Biden and the 46,649 total to Trump. So they made a clerical error. And that's what's upsetting the conservatives and Trump, to the point of where they're going to come out and say that fraud happened over a clerical error. Everyone has made a clerical error at times in their lives. And that clerical error was corrected, what? Like I said earlier, 13 minutes later? That was corrected minutes later to correctly show Trump losing by 9,516 votes. The data is entered by the AP based on the clerk's website without involvement from election officials. Okay, that's what they do. This sounds like standard practice to me. What's illegal about that? What's fraudulent about that? There was a brief technical error in AP's collection of the vote count in Rock County, Wisconsin that was quickly corrected, Patrick Max, AP spokesman, said in an email to the USA Today network. AP has myriad checks and redundancies in place to ensure the integrity of the vote count reporting. We are confident in what we have delivered to customers. As you should be. You did your job. Unfortunately, because it didn't turn out in the favor of the conservatives and Donald Trump, they're all whining like little babies right now. No disrespect. I'm not saying that about you, Queen. I'm saying that in general. In other words, the glitch was in a media system, not a voting system. It was a clerical error by the media, not the actual system. They swapped out the numbers for the wrong person. Then they fixed it 13 minutes later. And now we got to make a big fuss out of it? The wrong numbers were briefly loaded into an array of media websites, but the numbers were never counted or reported incorrectly by Rock County. That's all that matters. The media is not the official source. The media goes by what they're given. And if they incorrectly report the information or swap the numbers by mistake, that doesn't mean that there's fraud happening at the county level or the state level. God, everybody's human. No shit. No kidding. Some people think they're superhuman. I'm not going to mention who I feels is superhuman, but you can put two and two together and figure out who I'm talking about. Everybody's human, no kidding, but maybe you should check your source instead of jumping to conclusions, Tollefson said of the voter fraud claim. The 55% to 44% margin in Biden's favor is in line with the 2016 election, when Trump drew 41% of the vote compared to 52% for Democrat Hillary Clinton. Further proving there was no fraud happening. Everything was in line with how it was projected to be and how probably Donald Trump projected it to be before the election even happened. Our ruling false. We rate this claim. Well, let me check out the chat real quick before we go further here. In other words, the fake news media is not allowed to call who the president is. Well, I agree with you on that, Queen. That's why it's called a projection. A projection is we feel based on the information we've received so far, we feel confident that this is what the final outcome will be. So, Queen, you're right. Respectfully speaking, Queen, all it is a projection. You know how like some people come out here on YouTube that attack us? Remember the people who used to attack us? What would they do, Queen? They would project their insecurities onto us, right? Well, what Fox, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, and all the other news reporting agencies, the AP, etc., what they're doing is making a projection, but they're not the official, final, they're not the official final say. We all know that it goes down to each individual state and the official results. But you can safely, for the most part, make a fairly accurate or pretty accurate projection based on what the media has received so far. So you're right, Queen. You're totally right. See? That's a civil conversation right there. Totally a civil conversation right there. Okay, our ruling false. We rate this claim false because it is not supported by our research. There was no glitch in the in the election system. And there's no gotcha moment or evidence that will move votes over to Trump's column. That's true. If I was a Trump supporter, I'd be saying the same thing. I'm not saying this because I'm liberal. Facts are facts. If something went wrong, you got to have concrete proof. You got to have concrete proof, and it just does not exist. It's a bunch of hearsay. It's a bunch of whining and complaining. That's all it is. The presidential totals were transposed for several minutes due to a data entry error by the Associated Press, without any involvement by election officials. Let me repeat that again. The presidential totals were transposed for several minutes, 13 minutes, due to a data entry, a clerical error. A data entry error, a clerical error by the Associated Press, without any involvement by election officials. The votes were counted following standard procedures by the Rock County Clerk's Office and show Biden winning the country by a margin of more than 9,000 votes. You want to recount? Go ahead and recount. You want to recount in that county? Go ahead. You want to recount the whole state? Go ahead. But when has a recount ever swayed the votes the opposite way by more than a few hundred, 1,000 if that? And if the margin for the opponent, in this case Joe Biden, is higher than that, is it even worth it? Or are we just trying to get attention before we know we have to leave the office on January 20th, 2021? That's what I think it is. Mr. Trump, President Trump, is just trying to get his last licks in before he has to go. So there they just show you their fact-check sources. I don't have to read that. And that is that. All right. So we are at an hour and 22 minutes. It is 8:02. What I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to step away and I'm going to take another 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. Ooh, the chat here now. Oops. Oh, here we go. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, just making sure everything's back to normal. Pardon me. Sometimes the chat will freeze when I go to the other screen, so I've got to reset it. Let's do that. Give me a second here. What is going on here? Hey! Homie B Huncho is what it is. Hey, welcome, bro. I don't know if you heard the first part of the show. I greatly thank you for becoming a channel member. Thank you so much for being here, bro. And I got your comment earlier that you're going to be binge watching a bunch of those members-only videos. More of those to come. Appreciate it, bro. You know, don't feel obligated to keep it past 1 month, but that's up to you, man. But thank you for being here, man. It's a great pleasure to have you back. So yeah, that's Y2K Homie, Queen, and Mutt. I don't know if you remember Y2K Homie. He's changed his channel name to Homie Be Huncho. And I think he's over 8,000 or 9,000 subs now. You're nearing in on 10,000 subs. Congratulations to you, bro. I'm going to give you a big, huge round of applause. It's great to reconnect with you, bro. And it's nice that you've removed yourself from the drama. And same here. And we can just go on and create our actual content, bro. Very proud of you, man. Very proud of you. All right. So let me cue up some music here real quick again. Let me see here. Let me see here. All right. Music is queued up. I'm going to step away for another 5 to 7 or 8 minutes. When I come back, we're going to do the final article before we wrap things up from the LA Times. Biden calls Trump's attempts to cling to power embarrassing and says he'll push on. So stick around. We'll be right back. political party preference. You should feel good about yourself no matter what. Do you feel good about yourself? Clap your hands and shake it all out. Woo! And Mutt with her very, very famous welcome back. Welcome back, Mutt. Welcome back, Queen. Welcome back, Homie B Huncho. Oh, yeah. Slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. Slow it down. Feel it, all right? Feel it. Feel it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I feel it. I definitely feel it. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? Do you feel it? I feel it. And I feel good. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube. And I just love YouTube, even though every now and then they have a glitch and they shut down for an hour, but then they fix it and they come back. And it's all good, right? It's all good, right? Everybody has issues at times, including YouTube and Google. Thank you, Google and YouTube, for fixing the issue so I could still go live tonight, half an hour later than I expected and planned. But hey, better late than never, right? I believe in better late than never. All right, it's 11:17 p.m. Eastern Time. Sorry. Yeah, it's 11:17 p.m. Eastern Time. Did I say that right? 8:17 p.m. Pacific Time in my neck of the woods. Tonight, folks, we have been discussing more ridiculousness continues. Plus, major channel updates, including 4K content. If you missed the first part of the show, this is the third and final segment. Go back and check out the replay once this show is done, because as I mention all the time, the DVR function on my live streams, which is also known as the rewind capabilities, is disabled because I want you all to be able to participate while the show is live, while it's happening. Go back and check out the first two parts. The first part, I was talking about some major channel updates, including 4K content coming to this channel. I shared a bunch of things that you're not going to want to miss, so go back and check that out. Then check out the second part regarding an article that I critiqued called Fact Check: Wisconsin County Did Not Have a Glitch That Stole Votes from Trump. A wonderful article written by USA Today. All right. Let me check out the chat here real quick, and then I got to get right to it because I got to blitz right through this. I'm running out of time. I have some things to do at the top of the hour. I have a phone call to make that I can't be late for, and I'm feeling I'm going to be late. Fashionably late, that is, right? It's always fashionably late, right? All right, Mudnuts World says, sorry, I am here just taking care of some personal stuff. Totally understand that, Mud. Totally understand that. All right. Let's get right to it because I have to set up this next article here. Let's go back to the browser source and let us switch over to the other article. If you give me just 1 second here, folks. Where am I? Here I am. My apologies, folks. At some point, I will need to get like a production manager here. You can hear me hum in the meantime. All right, there is that. Let us expand this to 133%. Is that going to work? I don't think it is. Oh, it is. It will. Okay, give me a second here. My apologies, folks. All right. There's that part right there. That part right there. And let me just make sure that the whole thing stays and doesn't get cut off. All right, I think we are set. Let me just align this thing on the fly here while we're live on the air. Okay. And let's just move it. All right, give me just one more second. We are almost set here, folks. All right. There we go. Okay, so you're not going to be able to see the, actually, is it in alignment there? It is. All right, so this next article I'm going to be dissecting is called Biden calls Trump's attempts to cling to power embarrassing and says he'll push on. One more time. Biden calls Trump's attempts to cling to power embarrassing and says he'll push on. And this article was written by Noah Behrman, Elvin Halper, and Tracy Wilkinson. Wow, 3 people contributing to this. Wow, fantastic. It was written yesterday, November 10th at 4:29 p.m. I assume that's Eastern time, a little over a day ago. And let's get right to it. There's a lot to go through in such a little amount of time. Wilmington, Delaware, President-elect Joe Biden coolly insisted on Tuesday that he would not be stymied by President Trump's increasingly aggressive attempts to thwart the transition of power, calling Trump's claims to be the rightful winner an embarrassment that will tarnish his legacy. President-elect Biden, which is what I'm trying to say, I was about to say Trump. President-elect Biden, I don't think the current President Trump really cares about your opinion, to be honest with you. And I think you feel the same way, but what you said had to be said. And I respect that, because he's acting like a little baby. No disrespect to any conservatives out there that love Trump. It's your choice. I respect that. It's your choice. But yeah, that's it's a big embarrassment. Big embarrassment. Biden's comments came about 2 hours after Secretary of State Michael R. Pompeo flippantly, Jesus, look at this vocabulary, told reporters there will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration, echoing days of false statements from the president and potentially undermining the image the United States has projected as a proponent of respect for free and fair elections. Yeah, like I've been saying all along, Trump's been questioning our democracy. Our system's being questioned solely on the fact that he's being a sore loser. That's my opinion. It's just my opinion. Even as the Secretary of State joined in casting unfounded doubt on Biden's election, leaders of foreign nations continue to send congratulations to the Democratic former vice president. As they should. He was projected the winner, and there's more than enough evidence to believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that when everything's all said and done, Joe Biden will be the president. That's what a projection is. A projection is made once there is certainty that that's what's going to happen. Is it a possibility it can go the other way? Sure. But very, very, very unlikely. It would take a huge turn of events. And it would take proving that all these allegations of voter fraud actually exist, which we know they don't. And even if they did, would the level of voter fraud be enough to overtake the margin that Biden has leading? And remember, Biden is winning the popular vote now by over 5 million votes. Wow! Biden is winning the popular vote by over 5 million votes. Let's continue. Biden taking questions from reporters near his home in Wilmington, Delaware, for the first time since his Saturday night victory speech, chuckled as he repeated Pompeo's name and title as if to dismiss him. You know what I thought about doing? And Queen, with no disrespect, Queen, I have a lot of love for you. You're being a good sport. And I will always respect you, okay? But I was thinking, going back to the days of The Apprentice, where Donald Trump would say, blah, 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 you're fired. You're fired, right? Well, Donald Trump, you're fired. You're fired now. That's what Biden's saying. Biden is now coming out and saying, I'm the new host of The Apprentice, Donald, and I'm firing you. You're fired. I'm sorry. Wrestler Mania's in the house. On my way to bed. I have an early start tomorrow. Hope you have a great stream. Hey, Wrestler Mania. Great to see you, bro. Hope all is well. Let's catch up soon. My chat's members only now, but moderators are always free. I'm sure you've heard about that by now. You will always be a mod here. You will always be free. But thank you for stopping by, bro. Lots of love from Coach Eli. Say hi to your wife and your son, Elias. Let's catch up soon, man. Queen Helen Case says, I did retweet a video of Biden admitting that he put together a voter fraud. Okay, I'll check that out. I must have missed that. My Nuts World, I can tell that was written by a Delaware reporter. They have bad grammar even on live TV. Yeah, I see a lot of conservatives out here on YouTube. What they'll do is they'll make fake sock accounts of real channels and then go and comment on other channels pretending to be that actual person. And then they create a video saying that this moderator attacked the channel owner when it was actually the sock account doing it. Sounds like something of similar nature, Mutt. So who are the cheaters? Who are the cheaters now? Who's trying to make things up, right? They're blaming the liberals for cheating, yet they're going out there and try to lie to basically not have to admit that they lost. What they're doing is they're being sore losers. They're being sore losers. Anyway, let's continue here. The Democrats' demeanor was in keeping with his broader attempt to project steadiness in the face of Trump's unprecedented intransience, and thus to assure the nation that the process would play out without significant disruption, even as many former government officials express alarm at the behavior of the president and his party. Yeah, it's going to go on. Life goes on. Biden's already preparing, for his administration. He's preparing for January 20th. He's going to do what he has to do, no matter how hard Trump tries to block Biden from doing certain things, which is what Trump is doing. But come January 20th, Trump is going to have to leave the White House unless something miraculous happens between now and then. Okay? Which is not going to happen because nothing was wrong. Nothing wrong ever happened. And if Trump does not leave the White House on January 20th, if he refuses to leave, then I would assume that President Trump could face jail time, could face trespassing charges. What's going to happen is Trump is going to push this to the very last day, and then he'll walk away and you will not hear from him probably for a while. And what's going to happen in 4 years? Trump is going to run again. It's going to be Trump versus Biden, or Biden versus Trump round 2. It's going to be the rematch. It's going to be like one of those Mike Tyson rematch fights from back in the days of the Tyson era. Remember that? That's what it's going to be. We don't see anything that's slowing us down, Biden said. No, Biden has so much experience that even if Trump denies him access to certain things that, a president-elect would have access to by now, Biden will figure it out. Biden is very well versed in politics. He's been doing it for over 40 years. Failure to reorganize our win does not change the dynamic at all. He added, the fact that he is not willing to acknowledge we won at this point is not of much consequence to our plan. It's not because the numbers speak for themselves. He can't fight the fact that everything was done legally, and that speaks for itself. As if to punctuate the point, Biden's transition team announced immediately after his remarks that it had moved into its next stage, creating agency review teams tasked by law with ensuring that government operations are transferred smoothly at federal agencies and departments. Good, that's what he should be doing. He's working overtime already, and that's great. House Democratic leaders, meanwhile, sent letters to the current agency heads demanding that they not destroy government records on their way out. Whoa, okay. So now we're accusing the other side that beat us of fraud, and we're going to create more fraud and do illegal things. We're going to destroy government records on the way out. Wow. Biden said he could finish the work of the transition even if Trump blocks funding to which a president-elect is entitled under federal law or refuses to provide him the classified intelligence briefings that are typical prior to the inauguration. He said he saw no need for legal action to unlock the process while acknowledging it would be helpful to have more cooperation. Of course it would, but you know what? Biden's being a good sport about it. This is what Biden is doing. It's the same thing I've done with the trolls. He's ignoring all the shenanigans by Donald Trump. And he's saying, look, I'm going to be the bigger person here. I'm not going to fight him. I'm not going to argue him. And if he's not going to give me access to what I'm rightfully owed, even at this point, I'll find a way to make it happen myself. But once January 20th comes, if he doesn't leave, he's getting ousted. It's the bottom line. The president-elect said he had not spoken with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, with whom he served for a quarter century in the Senate, but who threatened on Tuesday to block Biden's cabinet nominees if he deems them too liberal. That's ridiculous. That is very biased right there. Just ridiculous. Let's continue. Biden expressed optimism that Republicans would deal with him in good faith after he is inaugurated. Well, yeah, what's happening right now is that Trump has scared all the Republicans. And that's why most of them are not speaking out. Most of them, I'm sure, agree that Trump's behavior is preposterous. But they're not speaking out because they need Trump's support. What if Trump runs in 4 years, right? And let's say he wins, which he probably won't, but let's say he does. You want to burn that bridge with a guy like Donald Trump that, in my opinion, is all about himself. And it's all about his agenda. And if you don't conform to his agenda completely, the moment you shy away from agreeing with everything that he says is the moment you're off his radar, the moment he's your worst enemy. Trump uses scare tactics to control people into getting what he wants. This is a typical conservative move that I've not only seen from him and other conservatives in office, in other aspects of office, of government, and also other conservatives I've dealt with out here on YouTube. It's a control tactic. It's ridiculous. The whole Republican Party has been put in a position, with a few notable exceptions, of being mildly intimidated by the sitting president, Biden said. I just said the same thing in different words. And the next lines were the same thing I just said. The whole Republican Party has been put in a position, with a few notable exceptions, of being mildly intimidated. He's intimidating the shit out of them by the sitting president, Biden said. Biden's remarks reflected the spirit of his campaign. Despite criticism from Democratic Party progressives, he insisted Republicans would come to the negotiating table once Trump was gone. That confidence is being put to the test as Republican officials rally to Trump's baseless claims that the election was stolen from them, despite Biden's increasingly comfortable electoral margin and a lack of evidence of significant voting irregularities. Biden has 279 electoral votes. It's already been clinched. It doesn't matter if he loses all the remaining states. He cannot lose. He has 279 electoral college votes. Now, in those, states where Trump is, suing, saying there's voter fraud, sure, if somehow those get overturned, those electoral college votes could flip. But that's not going to happen. Nothing went wrong. And even if there was a miscount, it'd be by a few hundred votes, which would not be enough to overturn the decision. It would not. Let me check out the chat real quick here. All right. Mutnuts World says, Queen Helen cases, the Democrats are the cheaters. That's your opinion, Queen. That's the opinion of a lot of conservatives right now. And look, I understand why you feel the way you feel, Queen. And again, I respect you, and I'm being respectful to you because you show the same respect. You just state your opinion. You don't attack people. You just state your opinion. That's great. Mudnuts World says, my local news station has a station here in Maryland where I am at about 45 minutes from me, and they have a sister station in Delaware, somewhere up near Washington. Okay, cool. Queen Ellen Casey says, Trump is not a career politician. I promise you that. He is a businessman and a builder. You're right. He is a businessman. That's what he is. You're right, Queen. I'm not questioning that one bit. I never have. That's what he is. But being a businessman and being the commander-in-chief are two totally different things. I think if Trump had a bit more compassion about Americans in general than he does, I think it would have made him a pretty good president. I think the fact that he lacks compassion, Queen, especially to non-conservatives, is what's destroyed him. That's just my opinion. Homie B. Huncho, Trump is going to find a way to stay. He is the greatest president we have ever had. Trump will find a way. Well, Homie B. Huncho, I respect your opinion, but I disagree. And Homie B. Huncho, let me ask you this. If he's the greatest president that's ever lived, then why is he losing the popular vote by 5 million votes? The greatest difference in the history of our country. The country has spoken. There are people that voted for Trump 4 years ago and that swayed their vote to Biden because even some conservatives weren't happy or aren't happy with what he's done. But I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and that's great, bro. Like, look, I'm not here to attack anyone. It's an opinion. But seriously, let's just see what happens the next 4 years. We'll reconvene in 4 years, and it will probably be round 2 of Biden versus Trump. Biden will run for re-election, and then Trump will come back and run again. Let's see what happens. Bob Bauer, Biden's legal advisor, told reporters that judges had dismissed 6 Trump lawsuits between June and Election Day and 7 more since then. He read aloud excerpts from court hearings, including one in Pennsylvania, where Trump's lawyers could not cite evidence of fraud, because there isn't any, and another in Michigan, where a judge contradicted GOP claims that it was prevented from observing the counting of votes. There were enough people there to verify the process was done properly. The Trump administration and including Trump, they're just looking for any excuse to prolong this thing from having to concede. That's the bottom line. That's all I have to say. Their evidence doesn't exist, Bauer said. It doesn't. If it did, it would have surfaced. All the major news networks would have the evidence. If the evidence exists, then where is it? America's closest allies have largely ignored Trump. Biden has received congratulatory statements since Saturday and took some phone calls on Tuesday. Okay, that's what he's been doing. I know from my discussions with foreign leaders thus far that they are hopeful that the United States democratic institutions are viewed once again as being strong and enduring, Biden said. Yeah, we just want some peace and unity. We don't want to fight left versus right. We want to unite. I love people for being people. Look, homie, queen, you're both conservative. I still have love for you folks. I think you're great people. Now, Mutt, I think you're more on the left with me, but I have love for you too. Like, I don't judge people based on their political party preference. If I judged people at all, it would be based on their behavior. And even to you conservatives out there, even if Trump had a leg to stand on with this fraud happening, right? Do you feel that it is right and normal for the commander-in-chief to behave like a 2-year-old baby? Don't you feel that your commander-in-chief should be a bit more mature than that? He's a grown-ass man, for Christ's sake. Or are you just going to let that slide off to the side? Just because you've been indoctrinated so deep into this that whatever he says out of his mouth, you believe. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, and I'm not trying to attack any of you here. I'm just saying that's what's happening. I wouldn't put up with anyone behaving the way Trump has behaved lately, regardless of their political party preference, regardless if they're male or female or anything else. That behavior is just despicable for any grown-ass adult, let alone the commander-in-chief. Come on, let's be real here. I know from my discussion, okay, I already read that. Among the well-wishers were German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who had a particularly prickly relationship with Trump, as well as British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, French President Emmanuel Macron, and Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin. Most said they spoke with Biden about repairing transatlantic ties that were strained under Trump and about restoring cooperation on causes like climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, that's what needs to be done. We need to reunite with our allies. We need to have our allies. We need other countries working with us to solve these global issues. These are global issues. The pandemic is a global issue. Climate change is a global issue. We need their support. And instead of pissing them off, we should be working with them and working as a team in unity, not attacking them for what we feel they're doing wrong. Let's help them out so they can help us out. What part of that don't we understand? I spoke to Joe Biden to congratulate him on his election. Macron said on Twitter, "We'll have a lot to do together to promote shared priorities, climate, global health, international security, and effective multilateral action." As world leaders welcomed the transition, Pompeo threw out more questions around it. It was not entirely clear whether he was joking about another term for Trump in his brief news conference, but he did acknowledge that Biden had won. Okay, because that's what happened. "We are ready," he said. Speaking of the transition, "The world is watching what is taking place. We're going to count all the votes. The world should have confidence in the process and in the transition," Pompeo added, with the president who is in office on January 20th. Great. Pompeo called it a ridiculous question when a reporter asked whether Trump, by refusing to accept the election result, is harming American efforts to promote democracy around the world. That's what he's doing. Trump, with the way he's behaving and reacting to this, is basically discrediting the entire system of democracy. And that's what's upsetting everyone, not just liberals, but conservatives and all others. It's upsetting a lot of people that he's questioning the democracy of this country that's been around forever. Yet the secretary's own remarks elected criticism for their potential to undermine those efforts. Yeah, I agree. Whether Pompeo was serious or joking or trolling, wow, the LA Times used the word trolling. His comment was equally egregious, said Suzanne Maloney, the Brookings Institution's Foreign Policy Program Director, who has advised administrations from both parties. No senior U.S. official should be expressing open contempt for the integrity and credibility of our democratic system, she added, much less the nation's top diplomat. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And that is that. So I got through that pretty quickly. All right, let's do this. Let me go back to full screen. We are at 8:46. I got to wrap this up soon. Let me make sure that the chat's still working here. Test. Okay, we're good. All right, folks. That's going to do it for tonight. I'm at a loss for words to wrap things up. Hang on a second. I got a message health review. Let me read what Homie B. Huncho said there. Eli, let it slide because I witnessed many news articles trying to change the narrative on Trump and bash him for 4 years, so I think it is fair he gives them some hell fighting back. You know, Homie B. Huncho, I respect your opinion. I understand why you're saying that. Like Queen was saying, Donald Trump is a businessman. He's been a pretty damn good businessman. Now, do I feel that all of his business practices throughout his life have been ethical? No. But anyone that's made the amount of money that Trump's made has always pushed the boundaries one way or another. So I'm not going to hold that against Trump. When you're looking at running the country, Homie B. Huncho, there are things that are more important than having a good business mind or business sense. You need to have compassion for the people at a general level. You need to have compassion not just for your own party, in this case the conservatives, but the liberals, the independents, the libertarians, and everyone. You need to have compassion for Americans. And when I say Americans, that means everyone. Night all. We'll catch up later. Got to go deal with something personal. Go ahead, Mutt. Let me know if you need something. I'll be around. I'll be around tomorrow, Mutt, most of the day. If you need something, let me know if you want to talk privately. I'd be happy to help you. Thank you for stopping by. If Trump had more compassion and didn't incite hate, violence, and racism, Homie B. Huncho, with his business sense, he could have been one of the best presidents that ever lived. But that's not how he handled the 4 years in office. Queen, I respectfully disagree with you. I know it's your opinion. I value your opinion. Trump loves himself, and he loves people that love him. And that's primarily conservatives. I'm seeing a lot of conservatives out here on YouTube saying that the election was stolen from us. And it makes me sad, Queen. It always makes me want to cry as a grown-ass man. Because just because I'm a slight left liberal and I still love everyone, how in the world can these people say that the election was stolen from us? Who was it stolen from? Who was it stolen from? Because the last time I checked, Queen, at the end of the day, we're all Americans. I'm an American citizen, Queen, so are you. I'm an American, and so are you. And I respect you, Queen, as an American. I respect all of you as Americans. And see, Queen, the kind of guy I am, I can sit there and have disagreements with you on this and still be your friend because that's the kind of guy I am. I want to have civil conversations like this with people like you. I need to have people like you as friends, Queen, because I need to hear the other side. I need to hear how you feel. And I need to be able to have a conversation with someone like you in a civil and rational way like we've been having. And I thank you for that, and I appreciate that. Despite our differences, Queen. That's all I've ever wanted from people. I've never said that we have to agree on everything. But we should be able to have a rational discussion about anything and everything and work through it like grown-ass adults. That being said, folks, I'm going to get on out of here. This show has been on for 2 hours and 11 minutes. I have a phone call to make in less than 10 minutes now. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to Queen Helen Casey for coming back. I really appreciate it, Queen. Feel free to come back anytime. We'll talk privately behind the scenes really soon, maybe later this week with you, Mutt, and the rest of the mods. Thank you to Mutt Nuts World for being here. I hope things get better for you. Thank you to Lewis Fuller, who was here earlier. Thank you to WrestleMania, who was here earlier. Thank you to Homie B. Huncho for being here. I wasn't always a Trump supporter. Remember playing FDT, a.k.a. F. Donald Trump, and thinking he was a bad person. But when he became president, I witnessed nothing but greatness and seen the good. Yeah, dude, listen, you're entitled to your opinion, dude. And you know what? If he makes you feel good and you feel that your life has become better since he's been in office, I can't and will not take that away from you. All I can do is share how I feel and how it's affected me and how I also feel it's affected a large group of people. And you're living proof, Homie B. Huncho, as part of the division of this country. You're part of the division of it, and so am I. I don't want to be divided. I want to be friends with everyone. I want us to all get along. But yeah, I get what you're saying, dude. And I could sit here and be the bigger man and say, dude, while I disagree with you, I respect your opinion. And I understand why you're saying what you're saying. Again, thank you for becoming a channel member. I appreciate that. You're not obligated to keep that longer than a month. If you just wanted to check out the content, feel free to cancel anytime, bro. I'll still have respect for you. That's the kind of guy that I am. But thank you very much for that as well. With that being said, folks, I got to get out of here. Have yourselves a great night, and I will more than likely see you tomorrow for another stream or pre-recorded video. Take care. Bye. Bye.